Welcome to Phrase by Phrase, where we are studying the Bible one phrase at a time. And today we are in James chapter 3, verse 18. And James has been talking about worldly wisdom and godly wisdom. And now he's going to describe the fruit of godly wisdom, the outcome of someone who lives with godly wisdom. So in verse 18 he says, "And the seed whose fruit is righteousness is sown in peace by those who make peace." Now, I think that verse is just a little bit confusing, actually, but the Phillips translation, I think, captures it well. Listen to how Phillips words this. "And the wise are peacemakers who go on quietly sowing for a harvest of righteousness in other people and in themselves." All right, now, in contrast to worldly wisdom that produces disorder and every evil thing, as we looked at, those who walk in godly wisdom, that wisdom from above, will have the impact of peace on others. That's what he's saying. They bring peace in, they bring shalom into relationships, and through that, righteousness will spread. So that's the fruit of godly wisdom. Now, I shared with you when we began this that wisdom is received through conversion. It comes to us in seed form, right? And it grows through maturity. And the Bible talks to us about how that grows in us. Proverbs is the book of wisdom, of course, and it gives some examples. This isn't exhaustive, but it does give some examples about how godly wisdom can grow, how that seed can develop. And it tells us, first of all, that wisdom grows through humility. Proverbs 11:2 says, "When pride comes, then comes dishonor, but with the humble is wisdom." All right. So with the humble is wisdom. Now, humility, being humble, practicing that kind of lifestyle leads to wisdom in relationships, but we have to be clear about what that means. To be humble does not mean that we think lowly of ourselves, that we look down on ourselves. In fact, I would say it like this: humility is not looking down, but it's looking up and it's looking out. And here's what I mean by that. It's not looking down on yourself and thinking how horrible you are, but it's looking up. It's living in a dependence on God, and it's looking out. It's putting your focus on the needs of others. So you're not really thinking of yourself at all. You're thinking of other people. And so learning to live with that kind of an orientation where I'm thinking of God and I'm thinking of others, and learning to practice that helps to develop wisdom in our lives. Secondly, wisdom grows through a willingness and an ability to be taught. In Proverbs 19:20, it says, "Listen to counsel and accept discipline, that you may be wise the rest of your days." So listen to counsel. Discipline is when I need to be corrected. Counsel is just listening to it when others give you counsel. And one of the ways we could do that is by learning to watch those who are skilled in relationships, those who have healthy relationships. Watch how they interact with people. When we see couples that have very healthy relationships, watch how they treat each other, watch how they treat their children, and pay attention to the mature who are peacemakers, and watch and hang around them and spend time observing and learning from them. And then 3, wisdom grows through uprightness. In Proverbs 2:7 it says, "He stores up sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to those who walk in integrity." That's important because a person has to have truth, uprightness, which is referring to goodness, to the ways of God. That has to be important to them because that translates into the great commands: to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and to love your neighbor as yourself. To consider the needs of others as more important than your own. Jesus said that those 2 commandments are the very heart of the law. Everything hangs on that. So that's really important. So uprightness, to be right, is to live in accord with those ideas. So to go after truth and justice and righteousness is really about relationships, loving God and loving others. And then 4, wisdom grows through faith. James said, "But if any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all men generously and then without reproach, and it will be given to him. But he must ask in faith without any doubting." And we looked at that early on in our study in the book of James. So he gives it to us as we ask in faith. He teaches us how to walk in this godly wisdom that is about bringing peace, bringing shalom into relationships. And I hope that you will be one who walks as the wise. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you next time as we dive into James phrase by phrase.